past the trees and the jackrabbits in the weeds. I took the long road home just to see what I could see. Well, it was a big wide world out there.
Hey guys, Wandering Beast back here in the Adventure Bus. I want to kind of preface this video. What you're about to watch is my overall impressions / install video of my Chinese diesel heater. I put this in a little over a year ago, and I want to give you guys kind of what happened and kind of my tribulations of me putting this in. And then we're going to break it out in kind of a part 2. Modifications, things I've done to it, things I plan to do it to make it perform better for me, and then a part 3, an overall review. If you want to cut to the chase and not wait till part 3, I absolutely love it. Now, if you look at the link below, I did go with an Amazon-based seller for these. I also went with the higher-end aluminum case on there, and I think those are both really good options. So check out the links below, enjoy the video, and we'll see you at the end. Well, good morning, guys. It is a chilly morning. Hot coffee is trying to take the edge off this ice fog. I'll put a quick shot of the road or the window or something out there. We were only supposed to have fog for one day. We've had it for a couple days, and it's definitely below freezing. So everything the fog has touched is just solid ice. It's tricky driving. Just got back from the gym, enjoying the second cup of coffee, and we're going to get working on the bus. So quick pan around. You're going to see we've got 90%, 95%. All the walls are done of insulation. I still have the floor to do, and I still have the nose to do. I haven't decided what I'm doing with the nose. But today is about the heaters. So here's a quick little cheap indoor outdoor. I'll throw in a quick photo. Outdoor temperature, 32 degrees, right at freezing. We are almost at noon. I'm getting kind of a late start today. 99% humidity. That's that fog out there. So indoors are only a degree warmer at 31 and 73% humidity. Now, the other day we had very similar weather, kind of ice fog, and I brought in my big DeWalt heater just to kind of take the chill off of this space while I was in here working. And it was also to prove a point with the propane and how it's basically a wet heat. First thing, it warmed up super quick because that thing is, I don't know, 60,000 BTUs or something like that when I crank it on high. It only takes about 5 minutes to warm up this whole space. Windows fog, almost immediately, and it's because it's expelling so much moisture. Now, not to say that you don't have Propex heaters and other propane heaters that are doing a very similar thing. They're pulling out warm air and exhausting that propane exhaust out of the vehicle, out of the bus, out of the van, whatever you're using it in, and it's only warm, dry air that's in here. I still haven't decided how much propane I'm going to have on here. I didn't want propane for the heat, only because through trial and error, I know how much propane heaters use. Now, propane is cheap, but I'm going to try to keep this, hopefully not too many fuel sources. So, cheap Chinese diesel heaters, what we're doing today. If you guys follow along any of the Chinese diesel heater installs, you know that you don't always get all the parts to them. I will put a link to the people that I bought mine from because they were very responsive. I know for a fact a lot of people have just never heard back from the people they bought it from. I bought mine through Amazon, and I was missing several little items, and so I got a hold of them. One of them was the muffler. Right now I only have the intake and the exhaust tubing just setting there. I haven't clamped anything down permanently because I want to make sure everything works. Today is kind of the test for this. But the other thing I was missing was the little fuel filter, and I did not want to run, a test through if I have any plastic in this tank back here from drilling the hole out. I'm not going to go through an entire install videos. There's lots of people that have done this before, and they're all basically the same little cheap Chinese heaters. Well, you can tell it's cold in here because the battery keeps dying on the camera. Having to keep one in my pocket and keep it warm. Let's get this heater started. Not sure where that last video cut out. We were talking about the fact that not all these come with the right parts. So I'd found a little filter from the motorcycle shop. Like I said, try to buy local. It's not always the easiest. I feel like you spend more gas, time, and money running around your local little town only to end up coming home and ordering it online anyway. It's just, yeah, it's really too bad. But we're gonna get this done. So I've chosen the location here for the heater to be just behind the rear wheels. It's also access potentially in the future for diesel. Diesel lines are right there. The exhaust for this should be plenty out of the way. Also provide kind of an air brake for kind of the air intake behind the giant mud flaps that we have designed here. As well as this guy who's going to be taken out. This is the rear heater. I do have the 2 heater lines coming in here. So today we're going to be taking that out and potentially just making a U out of copper and just returning that coolant right back to the motor up top. So that down the road, I would love to get a hydronic version of this. So I will have one separate for air and one for hydronic use. That'll create our hot water. With a thermostat internal loop, and once that thermostat is kicked, it'll send that hot water back to the engine. So on days like this, when it's 20 some degrees, then obviously the truck will want to start easier. So as I mentioned before, this is all pretty temporary. I just have a clamp on the fuel line there. I've got to get the little guy off here. If you guys do and you're starting to research diesel heaters, ideally, what you'd look for is not this sort of 5 mil flexi hobby fuel line. What you really want is that 2 millimeter hard line. And you're going to see a lot of people install their diesel heaters, and they're going to have, let's see if we can get this to fit on there. Oh yeah. Diesel acts as a little lubricant. You're going to see they have these little short sections of, standard sort of black fuel line, and that will go into this 2 mil hard line. That 2 mil hard line is really what these dosing pumps are designed for. If you do a little research, these dosing pumps are basically like a pusher pump, which is also why I'm also putting the pump closer to the fuel tank. Again, this will get replaced down the road. This is just kind of the cheap one that they give you. Once I get a more permanent solution back here, this will get plumbed into a better aluminum tank and have a feed for outside filling, so I'm not spilling diesel inside, and I can fill it at the same time at the station. However, so as I mentioned, this dosing pump here, the little fuel pump, it's a pulsing pump. So it's chikun, 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 chikun. So it doesn't like to suck very well. Because of that suction, you don't want flexible line. If you guys have ever tried to create, a water pump and use your garden hose, that garden hose just collapses under that vacuum pressure. You need a hard line. And so if you're trying to suck too much out of here, let's open up that clamp, let the diesel flow. This flexible line will just collapse. Now, the same is to be said on the other side. When this is pulsing like a heartbeat up the line, this flexible line is known to flex. I think it just was going to obviously not be the best performance. If you're having issues and you have this flexible line, looking at trading it out, I probably will anyway down the road, but I figured for this point and purpose, to make sure everything's functioning and to use it this winter until we get the back end built, this will be just fine. So we've got this hooked up, this goes down, everything's sort of temporarily in place. Let's grab the controller and see what we do. All right, now I do have the power for the back here set on a solenoid switch, so I will have to rework that once we get the battery, sort of house batteries put in place. Mine did come with a remote, so I'm kind of curious to see if it does turn on the unit. And in fact, it does. There are some folks online that their remotes didn't work with their unit, and there's a whole process with trying to put those together. So I can hear some fans. Let's turn the camera over here and see what it does. All right, so one of the things I want to do is just prime it. Instead of starting the glow plugs and everything, if you do down and OK, should say H on, and we're going to say H on. And you're going to hear the priming pump kick on. Alright, here's where the heater line comes in. And you can see we're getting almost there, looks like. So we need to do one more priming cycle. I'm just right about here and where we're headed. Up here, and again, I've only got those slightly clamped just sitting there just for testing purposes. Want to make sure it all works. So maybe a little bit more, half a priming, and we should be there. All right, so what we've got here, if you'll focus, just turned it on. And as you can see, I'll zoom in just a little bit here. A pretty decent display for the cheap Chinese stuff. You know, you've got, I don't know what cell service means. It just doesn't really change. But obviously there is a remote, but I don't think this knows the range of the remote. I don't think it's that impressive. It will tell you your battery voltage, which is nice. Current temperature in here is 7 Celsius, pretty cold. The fan is running, the glow plugs have started. You've got air coming in and out. And that's probably the pump. Will start up here in a second and show that. Obviously you can set this up and down. There's all sorts of little things you can do. Default to this guy is it will show you hertz of the pump. That is the little pulse pump. Well, you can change this to Celsius. You cannot change it to Fahrenheit, I believe, for the North Americans. There's the pump kicking on. I did come in here and only just do a couple seconds of another prime, just so I saw the fuel getting to it. I didn't want to overfuel the pump and make it really smoky and hard to start up. So you can see here, fuel pump is kicked on, and let's just see what happens. Now you can hear that dosing pump firing up. I still have to put the silencer here on the intake. So you can feel the exhaust. Exhaust is starting to warm up. There's zero smoke at the moment, which is really nice. Alright, switching to handheld here. I do have the pump at max volume, up at 5 hertz. It's still slowly heating up. The thing itself shows max heat. I'm impressed with no smoke. I think it's really hard to hear me with the mic this way, but this is just starting to warm up. Feels quite nice, actually. I have my little thermostat, and we're just going to let this go, and I will come back. Hey guys, well, initial impressions, I'm actually really impressed. Seems like the fan and the pump are just starting to wind down a little bit from max. I don't know. I'm very impressed. I've seen some videos online where a lot of these smoke continuously, and that also may happen here in a second. But I was getting warm exhaust coming out. I'm getting warm air. Alright guys, that's going to wrap it up. That's kind of my initial install impressions video of me getting it all set up and walking around. Again, I've had this for over a year now, working fantastically in the bus. The next part 2 is going to be kind of covering the modifications, things I found that worked better, what I had to do to make it work that well here in the bus, and then things I'm planning on doing in the near future. So stay tuned for that. I look forward to your comments, questions, queries. I hope you're all well. We'll see you down the road.
Thanks for all the love and support. You guys are amazing. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow the adventure on social media, and we'll see you on the road.